So is this the end for Hope and Jones? There is a lot of talk in the lead up to this event that one or both will pay a great sacrifice with their life, essentially. Now, one of these characters will die in the upcoming event, which may or may not be the case. But what I'm focusing on is Hope and Jones and how they have led the storyline together since the beginning of Chapter 5. And Jones obviously had his bit arc, I guess, in Chapter 4. And OG, so they have been leading the line and the storyline for quite a number of years now. And it is natural for an open world experience game like this where we will move away from Hope and Jones. And obviously there's a lot of conversation about the 7 returning, so we could be going back to them. But there is a possibility of new characters taking the lead, or one of these characters now acts as the anchor to the previous story, as Jones acted with Hope, and maybe Hope will continue it and act as an anchor to the next main character. Because Fortnite will go through shift changes in terms of main characters and in terms of characters leading the story, and I think maybe it is now time for that shift to happen. Now, I'm not against Hope. I've always supported Hope. I've enjoyed her arc from Chapter 5, finding out about the disagreement between her and her sister, how they should deal with stuff, and then obviously Hope taking responsibility for Valaire's mistakes and, dealing with the issue of Pandora's box through Chapter 5, and then going, there's more out there. We need to deal with this stuff, which they then found the Zero Shard with her and Jones. And obviously the whole chapter has been revolving around that Zero Shard, and that was quickly taken into the Spirit Realm by the Dark Presence and his army. And we now find ourselves here at the pinnacle of the second part of this Pandora's box / Rift Shard storyline. Because they're one and the same, that's what the dialogue suggests, and they're this great power that needs to be sorted out. I know the Hope hate. Like, if you're so besotted with the storyline that come before and you just don't want to at least allow Hope's story to come into your cortex, then you're just not going to like the character, and it's understandable. And that's your opinion. But holy, it does, I don't know. Well, I try and keep an open mind if someone disagrees with me, but what Hope has done since her introduction to the story, I just don't understand how you can have a complete distaste for Hope. I understand maybe having some slight grievances in her character, but it is what it is. It is what it is. But this is sort of talking about the possibility of someone else leading the line, which is natural. I always said back in the day when the 7 looked like to be gone fully, and the IO and the Last Reality, and Last Reality have been here and there about. Sometimes obviously Trinox and the whole Peace Syndicate thing. And maybe with this, Storm King was involved somewhere around the line, so I guess we have to wait to see what progresses in the next few weeks and see if anything Last Reality is concrete. But I did say at the time, I felt like Fortnite needed to move away from the main factions of Fortnite to bring in others. Like, everyone wants to compare the story to like Marvel Rivals and say, wow, this story is amazing. I'm like, yeah, and they've had 90 years. Hello? They've had 90 years to construct a good telling story, and Fortnite has barely had 7. Like, are you just not accepting that reality? Are you... Hello? Of course, I expect them to be better at storytelling. But that's not saying this story hasn't been bad. I still think it's very difficult for any open world game that is trying to focus on different things, which you may see rightly or wrongly, to construct a really good story. But to be fair, Chapter 6 has been that, I believe. And large parts of Chapter 5. And just a point about the 7 going forever. I knew they would come back. I always knew they would come back. It was strategic to focus on other characters and extend the world. Like, again, people want to compare it to other IPs. They have a large extended universe. And if Fortnite wants to be that, they've got to do stuff like this. Every time we have another chapter, new story. Obviously, this one is also being tagged as a new story, but that doesn't mean a new whole story. Obviously, a new focus on something else. But everything exists. Everything that happened in Chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is all still relevant to today's story. Everyone's like, yeah, but nothing happens. I don't get why you have this massive disassociation with other chapters when you've seen Midas, you've seen the Vault, you've seen how OG is interacting with this current story. There's a possibility that it could be retconned, I suppose, whatever happens at the end event and how the 7 is reintroduced. Even then, we shouldn't dismiss anything that's happened prior. I mean, Jones is literally standing in chapter 2 geared. But yeah, this could be a time that we do move away from Hope and Jones, regardless if either dies. Like, we just, a natural progression, a new character comes in, or a new team comes in, alongside the reintroduction of the Seven, which seems like we're going to get to take the story on its next narrative shift. If the whole shard thing, and I guess what was linked to Pandora's box, is indeed over, and they somehow managed to get the shards back into the vault, which we've seen in Utopia, all that portal, so maybe that happens, and that will connect with, I guess we're going to have the Unvaulting event in the next chapter, so maybe there's some correlation between that and that. So I guess we're going to have to wait and see what happens there. And now Hope has blossomed in the Simpsons shorts, as well as Jones, to be fair, even though, for whatever reason, every single event, we either say Hope or Jones is going to die, or storyline characters have changed voice actors. I don't understand the notion of that, but it is what it is. Like everyone saying, oh my god, the storyline's reset, even though we get old elements back all the time from stuff that happened in chapter 3, 4, 5. Well, 5 isn't up for debate, but 2, 3, and 4. Yeah. These characters have blossomed this chapter. That's all I'm going to say on that matter. But yeah, we could be having someone new leading the line in terms of a main character. Like, the Seven could eventually come back to the forefront, but it would be odd if they were to come back so suddenly in chapter 7 season 1. They could be like an Easter egg or an end credit scene, shall we say, that could link a hint to their soon arriving back, but I feel like it'd be a bit more of a slow progression. But again, don't be surprised if we see Hope or Jones, or both, in the next chapter also leading the line. I don't feel like maybe 2 chapters for 2 years is enough. I mean, you could have less, you could have more, whatever. It's up to them when they see the story going. But I think Hope has blossomed this chapter and has been a real good addition to the Fortnite storyline, even though some might disagree with me. I mean, I've not had one good argument against it. Something like, oh, she's too generic. I mean, she is Hope. She is a woman. She's wearing clothes. Well, she's not an alien or wears a suit. That's the point of the character. And that's the same with Jones as well. That's the point. They're not the Seven. They're not the IO. That's the idea, to have a different character leading the line. But anyway, let me know what you think about, obviously, starting to consider that we may not have Hope and Jones. Obviously, I don't know chapter 7. I can't say who would be that character leading the line. I guess we've had the regimental 7 with infighting occasionally and stuff like that. We've had the charismatic Jonesy. We've had the ruthless Hope, because she is ruthless. She wants to get stuff done, and she will get stuff done. So another character to have another set of emotions and another set of desires will be interesting to see. I guess we have to wait and see what that is. So comment down below if you've got any ideas, and I'll be happy to hear them. Leave a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and until next time, it has been your boy, Mr. J.R. Next time, bye-bye.